Welcome to ITDB4109, Web Application and Database Security, along with ITSOI 303, Web Application and Security. Before we start, we may head on to our e-learning, and our course material is available, book resources, and chapter-wise PowerPoint presentation. I have also included chapter-wise summary, handouts, and you may download a PDF file for summary of every chapters. We'll just skip our course description and course objectives. In Chapter 1, Introduction to Web Application and Security. This will be our keynote for today. Evolution of web application, common web application functions, benefits of web applications, web application security. Under this, is this website secure? The core security problem. Users can submit arbitrary inputs, and the new security perimeters. At the end of this module, the students will be able to know the evaluation of web application, to know the common web application functions, and identify the common web application security vulnerabilities. In the early days of internet, the World Wide Web consisted only of websites. These were essentials, information that repositories containing only static documentations, and a browser were invented as means of retrieving and displaying those documents. The flow of interesting information as one way from the server to the browser, so most sites did not authenticate the users because there was no need, and the user was treated in the same way, presented with the same information. You see here a traditional web containing static information. Today, the World Wide Web is almost unrecognizable from the majority of sites of the web. In fact, typical web application nowadays are more on dynamic. Content presented to the users might have some search engine authoring by content by the user. The content presented to users is generated dynamically on the fly, and it's often tailored to each specific users. The common web application functions are basically web applications that have been created to perform practically every useful functions one could possibly implement online. Just for an example of web application that had been recent prominence in our recent years includes shopping, like Amazon websites, social networking like Facebook, banking, and so on. Computers, smartphones, and tablets. Nowadays, there are numerous of applications that they are now web applications migrated to this kind of technology. So businesses, applications like enterprises, resource planning, software now can be accessed using so many client-side devices like your smartphones and tablets. These are the current trends. Applications that are accessed using a computer browser increasingly overlap with mobile applications. At this time, most of mobile application employs either a browser or a customized client that uses HTTP's APIs, application program interface, that will communicate with the server. Web application had been widely adopted inside organizations to support key businesses functions. So there are so many key businesses nowadays that employs different applications as per organizations. We have HR applications, administrative interfaces, collaboration softwares, business applications, software services, traditional desktop applications like offices. It's not difficult to see why web applications have enjoyed such a dramatic rise of prominence. So several technical factors have worked along obvious commercial incentives to drive the evolutions that has occurred in the way we use our internet. Benefits of web applications rose because most of technology nowadays works on internet, and the main core line is the HTTP. These are the communication protocol used to access the World Wide Web. And most of our devices nowadays have been already pre-installed web browsers, including our mobile phone and smartphones, computers, tablets. Today's browsers are highly functional, enabling a rich and satisfying user's interface to be built. And the core technology languages used to develop web applications are relatively simple. Web application security problems. As with the new class technology, web applications have brought with a new range of security vulnerabilities. The set of commonly encountered defects has evolved somewhat over time. New attacks have been conceived that were not considered when existing applications were developed. So some problems have become less prevalent as awareness and increase. A new technology has been developed that have introduced new possibility of exploitations. Some categories of flaws have largely gone away. Is this a website secure? There's a widespread of awareness that security is an issue. For web applications, the fact that the typical application you will be reassumed that it is in fact secured. For example, is this site absolutely secure? It has been designed to use 128-bit secure socket layer or SSL technology to prevent unauthorized users from viewing any of your information. You may use this site with peace of mind that your data is safe with us. Some figures shown percentage of applications tested during 2007 and 2011 were found to be affected by some common categories of vulnerabilities. First one is broken authentication, broken access controls, SQL injections, cross-site scripting, information leakage, cross-site request forgery. And this is the graph, the incident of some common web application vulnerabilities in application recently tested by the author based on the sample of more than 100. The core security problem. Users can submit arbitrary inputs. With most distributed applications, web applications face a fundamental problem which they must address it in order to be secure. Because the client is outside of the application control, users can submit completely arbitrary inputs to the server-side application. The application must assume that all input is potentially malicious and must take steps to ensure the attackers cannot craft that input to compromise the application by interfering with the logic and behavior and gaining unauthorized access to its data and functionality. And some of this core problem manifests itself in various ways. Now, the new perimeter. These are the security that added to our new technology. is considered to be a future of web application security. Several years after widespread of adoption, web applications on the most internet today are still rife with vulnerabilities. Understanding of security threats facing web application and effective ways to address this remains immature within the industry. So there is currently little indication that the problem factors described previously are going to go away with the new features. Thank you, and see you on the next video presentation, next chapter.